There's a moment every driver dreads. You're cruising along, maybe on your daily commute or heading out on a long-awaited trip, when something feels off. The engine doesn't sound quite right. The air inside the car starts to feel warmer. Then you glance down and notice that temperature gauge creeping higher than it should. Slowly at first, then with growing urgency, it climbs into a zone that instantly triggers concern. That quiet sense of control you had just moments ago begins to slip. Questions flood your mind. Is it serious? Can I keep driving? What's happening under the hood? Car overheating is one of those problems that feels sudden and stressful, but the truth is, it rarely happens without a reason. Beneath that rising temperature is a story your vehicle is trying to tell you. And if you know how to listen, you can often catch the issue early, avoid major damage, and fix it without turning it into a costly ordeal. So let's take a deep dive into what really causes a car to overheat, and more importantly, what you can do about it. The first thing to understand is that your engine operates in a carefully controlled environment. It generates a lot of heat as it runs, and that heat needs to be managed properly. There's an entire system dedicated to keeping everything at the right temperature. When even a small part of that system stops doing its job, things can spiral quickly. One of the most common reasons for overheating is something surprisingly simple: low coolant. Coolant, sometimes called antifreeze, is the lifeblood of your engine's cooling system. It flows through passages inside the engine, absorbing heat and carrying it away to the radiator, where it can dissipate safely. Without enough coolant, that heat has nowhere to go. What makes this tricky is that coolant doesn't just disappear on its own. If levels are low, there's usually a reason behind it. It could be a small leak that's gone unnoticed, or even evaporation over time if maintenance has been neglected. In some cases, a loose cap or worn-out seal can slowly allow coolant to escape. The fix, in many situations, is straightforward. Checking and topping up coolant can make an immediate difference. But it's important to go a step further and ask why it was low in the first place. A quick inspection under the car for any signs of fluid or around hoses and connections can reveal clues. Catching a leak early can save you from much bigger repairs down the road. Another major cause of overheating lies in the radiator itself. Think of the radiator as the engine's cooling hub. It's where all that heat carried by the coolant is released into the air. But for it to work effectively, it needs proper airflow and clean internal passages. Over time, dirt, debris, and even bugs can accumulate on the front of the radiator, blocking airflow. Inside, mineral deposits or sludge can restrict the flow of coolant. When airflow is reduced or coolant can't circulate properly, the system loses its ability to cool efficiently. The engine temperature starts to rise, especially during slow traffic or hot weather conditions. Cleaning the exterior of the radiator can sometimes make a noticeable difference. A gentle wash to remove debris can restore airflow. Internally, flushing the cooling system helps clear out buildup and allows coolant to flow freely again. It's one of those maintenance steps that often gets overlooked but can have a huge impact on performance. Then there's the thermostat, a small component with a very big role. The thermostat regulates the flow of coolant based on temperature. When the engine is cold, it stays closed to allow the engine to warm up quickly. Once the right temperature is reached, it opens to let coolant circulate. But if the thermostat gets stuck, especially in the closed position, coolant can't flow properly. The engine continues to heat up, but the system can't respond. It's like having a gate that refuses to open when pressure is building behind it. The result is rapid overheating, sometimes within a short period of driving. Replacing a faulty thermostat is usually a relatively simple fix, but diagnosing it can require some attention. If your car heats up quickly and unpredictably, this small component could be the hidden cause. Now here's something many drivers don't think about until it stops working: the cooling fan. When you're driving at higher speeds, air naturally flows through the radiator, helping cool the engine. But when you're stuck in traffic or moving slowly, the cooling fan steps in to keep that airflow going. If the fan fails, whether due to an electrical issue, a blown fuse, or a worn motor, the engine can overheat quickly in stop-and-go conditions. You might notice that the temperature rises while idling but drops once you start moving again. That's a classic sign the fan isn't doing its job. Fixing this might involve replacing a fuse, repairing wiring, or installing a new fan motor. It's one of those issues that can seem minor but has a direct and immediate impact on engine temperature. And then there's one of the more serious possibilities: a failing water pump. The water pump is responsible for circulating coolant throughout the engine. Without it, the entire cooling system loses its ability to function. Heat builds up rapidly because the coolant simply isn't moving. A failing water pump might give warning signs before it completely stops working. You might hear unusual noises, notice coolant leaks near the front of the engine, or see inconsistent temperature readings. When the pump fails entirely, overheating becomes unavoidable. This is one of those repairs that typically requires more effort, but addressing it promptly can prevent severe engine damage. Ignoring it can lead to much bigger issues, including internal engine wear that becomes expensive to fix. At this point, you might be wondering something important. What should you actually do in the moment when your car starts overheating? This is where quick thinking makes all the difference. The first step is to stay calm and reduce the strain on the engine. Turning off the air conditioning and turning on the heater might sound counterintuitive, but it helps draw heat away from the engine. It's not comfortable, especially in warm weather, but it can buy you valuable time. If the temperature continues to rise, it's best to pull over safely and turn off the engine. Letting it cool down before opening the hood is essential. Opening a hot cooling system can be dangerous, so patience matters here. Once things have cooled, you can begin to assess the situation. Look for visible leaks, check coolant levels if it's safe to do so, and decide whether it's something you can manage or if professional help is needed. Now here's the part many people don't realize. Overheating isn't just about the moment it happens. It's about the patterns leading up to it. Engines rarely go from perfectly fine to dangerously hot without warning. There are often subtle signs along the way. Maybe the temperature gauge has been creeping higher than usual. Maybe you've noticed a slight drop in performance or a faint smell coming from under the hood. These are signals, and paying attention to them can be the difference between a quick fix and a major repair. Let's pause here for a moment, because this is where things get really interesting. What if the real issue isn't just about parts failing, but about how we think about maintenance in the first place? Most drivers tend to react rather than anticipate. We wait for something to go wrong before taking action. But cars, much like anything else that operates under stress, thrive on consistency and care. Regularly checking fluid levels, keeping components clean, and addressing small issues early can dramatically reduce the chances of overheating. It's not about being an expert mechanic. The good news is that most of these problems are manageable when caught early. Your experience might help someone else avoid the same situation. If you found this helpful, give the video a like so more people can discover it. And if you want more practical, easy-to-understand insights like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Because sometimes, the difference between a stressful breakdown and a smooth journey is simply knowing what to look for and what to do next.